The movie starts in India in 1993 with an ordinary employee whose wife calls him and asks him to finish his work and stop by so they can go have lunch together. He hangs up and goes to meet her, and the mother is anxious because her son, Vanshi, has returned from the army, and she wants to prepare food for him. But suddenly, there's an explosion at the place, and the employee and his wife are killed. We find out that this was a real event. That day, there were 12 bombings in India, making it one of the biggest terrorist attacks in the country. The whole country was shaken by this disaster. The terrorists used powerful explosives called RDX, and the Mumbai police started working on the case immediately. Officer Kabir managed to arrest several suspects in less than 2 days. The journalist says, "We heard that the people responsible for the explosives were Bilal and Tiger, and we also found out that they escaped from India." And what the journalist said was true, because Bilal and Tiger had escaped from India 2 days before the explosions. Tiger went to Iran, and Bilal went to Pakistan and joined his partner, Omar Hafiz. Omar is an important member of the terrorist group and works with Pakistan. And the journalist tells the police that 1,000 kilos of RDX entered India, but only 400 kilos were used in the terrorist attacks. That means 600 kilos are still missing. The officer replies saying, "We don't know if that's true or not, but if it is, then those 600 kilos must be buried somewhere in India." 2 years later, Pakistan helped Omar establish a powerful terrorist organization, and they started a war with India. But the Indian army managed to kill Omar Hafiz's eldest son. Omar was deeply shocked, and he decided to bring his other 2 sons, Riyad and Rita, from London. They were planning to take revenge on India, and also to bring back their brother, Tahir. Riyad goes to comfort his late brother's wife and tells her, "I will avenge your husband's death, no matter what it takes." In 2007, Bilal gathers 40 terrorists and tells them, "We've arranged visas for you to go to India under fake names. You'll go there and you won't be coming back to Pakistan again. There's a man there named Al-Othmani who will set you up with jobs so you can live among the Indians and blend in like you're one of them. You'll be spread out all over India. Some of you will work as building guards, others as bank employees. The police will find it hard to identify you because you won't do anything suspicious until your leader gives you the order. Your leader will be Riyad Hafiz." After that, Riyad says goodbye to his family before leaving for India. Riyad's mother is sad about everything happening and afraid of losing her second son. She asks Omar, "When will all this end?" Omar replies, "We need to ask the right question. When did all this begin?" 60 years ago, the country was divided because of religious intolerance. Many people had to leave their homes due to the conflicts that happened. When I was 5 years old, I saw my father and mother killed in front of me, all because of the Indians. That changed the course of my life completely. So now, I will change the course of India's life. Riyad and his men did carry out many terrorist attacks. Years passed, and now we move to the present day. Officer Kabir calls the Minister of Interior, requests a meeting, and the minister agrees, so Kabir goes to see him. Kabir tells him, "We've located Riyad Hafiz," and shows him a photo of 2 dead terrorists. He explains, "We killed these 2 in a terrorist operation, and we learned they were Riyad's men because they were often seen meeting him at the hotel. But Riyad is living under a fake name. He's calling himself Rajbir." The minister tells him, "Send a team and arrest Riyad immediately." Kabir replies, "My team is already on their way to arrest him." The minister asks, "And who's leading the team?" Kabir answers, "Vanshi." We then see the counterterrorism leader, Vanshi, with his team. An informant tells Vanshi, "As soon as you arrest Riyad, your picture will be on the front page of the newspapers." Vanshi replies, "God only knows whether my picture will be there with a Medal of Honor or if I'll be a martyr." After that, we see Officer Tara, who is one of Vanshi's team members, sitting in Riyad's hotel pretending to be an ordinary customer. Tara approaches Riyad's wife and says, "The food here is amazing. I've never tasted anything this good before. You're the owner, right?" She replies, "Yes, my husband and I own the hotel and the restaurant." Then Riyad joins them, and Tara thanks him and asks if she can take a photo with them. They agree, and they all take a picture together. After that, Tara leaves and shows the photo to Vanshi. They confirm that this is indeed Riyad. Vanchi and his team start surveying the area around the hotel, but Riyadh spots them and grows suspicious. He sends his men outside and prepares an RPG. After that, a gunfight breaks out between Vanchi's team and Riyadh's men. Vanchi's team manages to kill Riyadh's men. When Riyadh runs out of ammunition, he retreats. Vanchi starts chasing after Riyadh before he can escape, leaping across rooftops. After a long chase, Vanchi manages to catch him, and both of them jump down together. They get into a fierce fight, but Vanchi, being skilled in martial arts, overpowers Riyadh. He grabs him, beats him up badly, jumps in the air, and lands a powerful blow that sends Riyadh flying. But Riyadh steals a car and escapes, thinking he's gotten away from Vanchi. However, Vanchi takes some shortcuts through side streets and catches up to him. He takes a weapon from his colleague, Vivan, and shoots out the tires of Riyadh's car, causing it to flip over. The police then arrest Riyadh and take him in for interrogation. And Vanchi says to him, "According to the reports, you're the son of Omar Hafiz. You entered India from Pakistan in 2007 on a tourist visa and never returned. You've been living under the name Rajbir, and you were involved in the Mumbai train blast in 2011. Plus, 40 people came with you from Pakistan to India and are living here as a sleeper cell." Riyadh responds, "Everything you said is true. As for the 40 terrorists, their time hasn't come yet. When they start carrying out the operations assigned to them, you'll know they're here." Vanchi replies, "As long as I caught you, I'll catch the rest too." Then Officer Kabir enters. Riyadh says to him, "I know you very well. You're the one who solved the 1993 terror case in just 2 days. But Bilal and Tiger managed to escape from you." Kabir says to him, "We know that Bilal has been hiding in your father's house ever since, and the day will come when we arrest all of them." At the same time, Rita tells his father that Riyadh has been captured, so the Indians will hang him and kill him. Omar replies, "No noose can kill my son. He's a fighter, and he will only die on the battlefield." Meanwhile, Kabir tells Vanchi, "I received many medals of honor after the 1993 incident, but I've always regretted not being able to catch Bilal." Vanchi says, "I could never forget what happened in 1993 because my father and mother died in that incident." It turns out that the employee and his wife who appeared at the beginning of the film are actually Vanchi's parents. Kabir replies, "And that makes me even more regretful because people lost their families. That attack was carried out with just 400 kilos and it shook all of India, yet there are still 600 kilos of explosives buried somewhere. They could be anywhere, and the problem is, only Bilal knows where they are." At the same time, Omar turns to Bilal and says, "It's time for you to go to India, dig up the 600 kilos that are hidden, and use them for new operations." The undercover terrorists in India start finding out that Bilal is coming, and they begin passing messages to each other through the game PUBG. Meanwhile, Vanchi is attending his son Aryan's birthday. A woman asks Vanchi about his wife and son, so he replies, "Unfortunately, my wife will take our son and go live in Australia because something happened in the past and we separated." Vanchi looks at a photo of himself with his wife and son, remembering 9 years ago when he was hospitalized after taking a bullet to the stomach. Dr. Rhea sees him and is shocked. Vanchi isn't able to stand and collapses into Rhea's arms. She gives him the necessary medical treatment and manages to save him. When Vanchi regains consciousness, he's impressed by her and her beauty. Then Vanchi's men enter and tell him, "We won't let the guy who shot you get away. We'll catch him." Vanchi then tells Rhea, "I want to leave the hospital because I need to get back to work." Officer Tambi says, "So Vanchi could actually risk his life for his work." Rhea says to Vanchi, "You can't risk your life. This is the only life you have. That bullet almost killed you. I'll decide when you can leave." And then she walks away. Vanchi has to listen to her and stays in the hospital. To pass the time, he gathers his men there. They bring food and games, and they all hang out together. Rhea walks in and finds Tambi sitting on a patient's bed, so she mocks him and says, "How are you feeling? Is this place a game room now? Come on, all of you, out," she tells Vanchi. "You're so reckless." Later, Vanchi sits alone with Rhea and apologizes for what happened, giving her a flower to ask for her forgiveness. She forgives him, and they start to grow closer. Love sparks between them. They fall in love, he proposes to her, they get married, and they have a son named Aryan. One day, the three of them were out together when Vivan called Vanchi and told him, "We've found where the criminal Yakub is. He's at the Central Mall. Coincidentally, Vanchi was already near the Central Mall. He asked Vivan, "How long will it take you guys to get here?" Vivan replied, 20 minutes. So Vanchi decided to go and catch Yakub himself since his men would be late. He entered the mall's parking lot and told Ria, "You two stay here. I'll go inside." She asked, "Is something wrong?" But he didn't have time to answer. Suddenly, the criminal Yakub appeared in front of him with his car. Yakub's driver is shocked when he sees Vanchi and quickly reverses the car. Vanchi doesn't want to miss this chance, so he goes after them. Ria tries to stop her husband, telling him, "We have our son with us. You're putting him in danger." Suddenly, Yakub opens fire on them. Vanchi fires back, managing to kill the driver. Then the criminal's car flips over. Vanchi gets out of his own car and kills Yakub. Just then, Vanchi's men arrive, but to his horror, Ria gets out of the car, carrying their injured son. Aryan has been shot. Vanchi loses his mind with worry, and they rush Aryan to the hospital. Vanchi breaks down in tears, overwhelmed with guilt. After several hours, the doctor comes out to reassure him, saying, "Fortunately, the injury wasn't deep. Your son will be okay." After making sure her son was safe, Ria slapped Vanchi in front of everyone and said, "You brought us to an unsafe place and risked your son's life." Vanchi replied, "I was going to leave you both in the garage and go in to look for him. I had to stop him there. He could have killed innocent people. I was shocked to find him right in front of me." Ria shot back, "No officer risks his son's life for his job." Vanchi tried to calm her down, promising it would never happen again, but Ria wouldn't give him another chance. She told him, "I thought by marrying you, I'd be safe. I was wrong. I loved you and fell for you without thinking, but I won't let anything harm my son. Now I'm afraid of you." Vanchi asked, "Do you know what you're saying?" She answered, "Yes, and just as you chose your job over your son, I'll choose my son over our relationship." Ria decided to separate from her husband, leaving Vanchi in total shock. We return to the present, where Vanchi thanks Ria for inviting him to Aryan's birthday. She tells him, "Aryan was the one who wanted to see you. I have a request. I need you to sign the embassy papers so we can travel." Vanchi replies, "I'll do whatever you want." Then Aryan runs to his father, saying, "I don't want to travel. I want to live with both of you." Vanchi hugs his son tightly. After that, the Minister of Interior gathers Vanchi and his team, along with an intelligence officer named Nair. Nair says, "I have bad news. After the arrest of Riyadh, the terrorist organization has started moving again. Their next target is the city of Mumbai, and they're planning an attack even bigger than the setback of 1993. All the officers are shocked. Then Vanchi steps forward and says, "We've received information about a man named Al-Othmani. We've learned that he's the one supplying Omar Hafiz with weapons, but this man is heavily connected in politics. If we arrest him for questioning, it could spark a political crisis, maybe even public unrest against us." The minister replies, "Don't worry about any of that. I'll handle everything. You just arrest him and interrogate him." Indeed, Al-Othmani shows up at Vanchi's office. Vanchi tells him, "We have information that you're funding Omar Hafiz's terrorist organization." Al-Othmani responds, "I'm a major businessman. I receive money from all over the world. I can't verify the identity of every person who sends me money. I'll have my right-hand man, Rafiq, arrange a meeting with my accountant for you." As Othmani is about to leave, Vanchi stops him and says, "You're not getting away that easily. We're going to investigate you thoroughly, and we'll be watching your every move. Soon, when I find something on you, I'll put you in jail." Othmani doesn't like what he hears, but he leaves anyway. Afterwards, his right-hand man Rafiq says to him, "We're in trouble now. This officer Vanchi's behavior is unacceptable." Then Mukhtar enters and tells them, "Bilal is back." Both Othmani and Rafiq are surprised. After that, Rafiq goes to meet a man named John on a boat. He tells him, "There's a person coming from Pakistan. His name is Bilal, but he's entering India under a fake name, Ajay. I want you to pick him up from the airport, and I'll give you 500,000 rupees." John is surprised by the amount of money and gets curious about who Bilal really is. But Rafiq shuts him down, saying, "That's none of your business. You don't need to know anything more than that." Indeed, Bilal arrives at the airport and sees John holding a sign with the name Ajay on it. He approaches John and asks, "Who's the girl with you?" John replies, "We need to have a girl with us to avoid suspicion." Bilal gets in the car with them and they head to meet Othmani. Othmani takes Bilal to the location where 600 kilos of explosives are hidden, since only Bilal knows exactly where they are. They enter the abandoned house together. Their bodyguard, Mukhtar, starts breaking up the ground and reveals the 600 kilos of RDX explosives, which the terrorists plan to use in future operations. Bilal assembles a small bomb and hands it to Mukhtar, but suddenly someone knocks on the door. Everyone gets nervous and prepares their weapons. Bilal goes to open the door. It turns out to be a neighbor. The neighbor came to meet Bilal because the house has been abandoned for years, and he thought the owner had returned. He keeps asking Bilal lots of questions, but Bilal gives only short, vague answers. The neighbor wants to come inside, but Bilal stops him and firmly shuts the door in his face. After that, they transfer the explosives to a large vehicle, with Mukhtar driving. Once that's done, Bilal's mission is over, so he's supposed to return to Pakistan. Othmani gives him a plane ticket for his journey back. But Bilal doesn't want to leave. He says, "I want to visit my mother's grave in Mumbai before I go." Othmani is shocked and tells him, "Are you crazy? Staying here even one more day is a huge risk, and you want to go to Mumbai. Do you realize someone might recognize you?" Bilal pleads with him, saying, "I haven't visited my mother's grave in 27 years. This is my last chance." Othmani eventually agrees and tells him, "You have just one day. But if anyone sees you, you know what you have to do with that gun." Bilal then travels to Mumbai and visits his mother's grave. Unfortunately, he's spotted by Officer Khan, who immediately informs Vanshi. Vanshi is shocked and can't believe what he's hearing. Khan insists, "I'm sure it was Bilal." So Vanshi tells him, "I want you to monitor his movements very closely," and then calls Kabir to inform him that Bilal is in Mumbai. After that, Bilal returns to his hotel, with the officers tailing him closely so they don't lose sight of him. At the reception, Bilal is about to check out. Coincidentally, Vanshi's son, Aryan, is also at the hotel. When Aryan spots Officer Vivehan, he runs over and says to his friends, "That's Officer Vivehan, my father's friend." Unfortunately, Bilal overhears this and realizes he's being watched. He heads to his room. At that moment, Vanshi arrives and spots Bilal right in front of him, but he holds himself back from doing anything reckless since his son is there. He can't risk causing his wife more pain. He orders Ria to leave immediately with the kids. Vanshi and his men head straight to Bilal's room, only to find him inside with a gun pointed at himself. They urge him, "Surrender, don't take your own life." But he replies, "It doesn't matter. If you arrest me, you'll execute me anyway. The last thing I want to say is, I wish I could see this country burn." And then he takes his own life. The officers attend Bilal's funeral. Vivan tells Vanshi, "One of our informants said he saw Bilal yesterday." So Vanshi goes to meet this informant immediately. It turns out to be the neighbor who had knocked on Bilal's door earlier. The neighbor tells Vanshi, "I saw Bilal with 3 other people. When I tried to enter the house, Bilal stopped me." After that, Vanshi enters the abandoned house where Bilal and Othmani had stayed. He notices the hole where the explosives were hidden and picks up a piece of the explosives. He immediately orders for the forensic doctors to be brought in. Indeed, the forensic doctors arrive and examine the scene. The doctor tells Vanshi, this hole contained RDX. There were between 600 and 800 kilograms of explosives hidden here. After that, Omar assigns his other son, Rita, to go to India and avenge Bilal. Rita says goodbye to his family and travels, while his brother, Riyadh, remains in prison. Suddenly, 2 of his men arrive at the prison wall. The guard in the tower orders them to leave, but they ignore him and plant explosives along the wall. The wall blows up, and Riyadh escapes easily. He gets into a car with his men, and they drive away. Vanshi finds out what happened and rushes to the prison. He is shocked to learn that the explosives used to blow up the prison were RDX. Meanwhile, Riyadh sends a message to the 40 terrorists who came to India, telling them he needs them for the upcoming operations. Riyadh meets his brother Reda and hugs him. The 40 terrorists join them, and together they plan to plant bombs in 7 different locations across Mumbai. Among these locations is the Anti-Terrorism Unit headquarters. Riyadh says, "Let's see if the police officers will save themselves or their city." Meanwhile, Vanshi sees John on the airport surveillance cameras as he puts Bilal into his car. Vanshi says that John is now in Thailand, so Kabir orders him to go to Thailand and arrest him. "I'll contact the Thai police to help us," Kabir adds. Vanshi actually travels there and meets Layla, John's girlfriend. He interrogates her and asks where John is. At first, she denies knowing anyone by that name. Vanshi then tells her that John is involved in a terrorist plot and took 50 million rupees. She exclaims, "What? 50 million? That liar told me he only got 500,000. John will be here any moment, sir, and you need to arrest him." Layla lures John to her place, but he senses the police presence and immediately drives off. Vanshi grabs a motorcycle and chases after him. John drives recklessly to escape, gets rid of the police car following him, and even drives against traffic without caring. Vanshi stays right behind him, determined to catch him. In the end, John crashes into a car and his vehicle breaks down. He runs toward the sea and gets on a jet ski, but then Vivan arrives in a helicopter. Vanshi grabs onto the helicopter, and together they chase John over the water. Eventually, they manage to catch up to him. Vanshi slaps him from behind and grabs him by his clothes. After that, they interrogate him and order him to talk. John then tells them everything, including his relationship with Rafiq and Othmani. He tells him, "After Bilal died, I met Othmani, and he ordered me to come to Thailand so I'd be far away and the police wouldn't catch me." Riyadh was there and witnessed the conversation. Now that Vanshi has the evidence, he can arrest Othmani. He heads to Othmani's area with police cars and says, "I'm coming to you with the evidence that will allow me to arrest you. John told me about your involvement with Bilal." Othmani interrupts him and says, "You should have looked outside before barging into my house. There are 500 people out there who could crush you and your men." Vanshi replies, "I know you have a lot of followers, but today I'll make them turn against you." Vanshi steps outside and actually finds a lot of men standing there, saying, "We're not going to let you arrest Sheikh Othmani." Othmani laughs, thinking he has defeated Vanshi, but Vanshi goes to speak to their leader and says, "I've arrested many terrorists before. The law doesn't differentiate between people based on their religion. Whoever breaks the law will be punished, no matter who they are. And the evidence shows that Othmani broke the law." And Vanshi addresses the people of the neighborhood, saying, "There are 3 children from your area. Othmani sent them to terrorist organizations, and he helps Bilal and the other terrorists with their crimes. You have to help me arrest this criminal, or your kids will take him as a role model. We can't let what happened in 1993 happen again. If you stand in the way of the police, we will send in strong forces to storm this place. Some of you might get hurt, and no one can stand against the police." The community leader agrees to let the police arrest Othmani, and no one interferes. And indeed, they arrest Othmani and take him to the detention center. Vivan beats him violently, trying to make him talk, but Othmani says, "No matter what happens, I won't say a word." After a lot of torture, Vivan loses hope that he'll talk, and Kabir tells his colleagues, "People like Othmani will never talk." So Vanshi says, "Let me handle him with some illegal methods. We have no other option." Kabir agrees, and Vanshi brings Othmani's daughter and wife to him. When Othmani sees them, he loses his mind. Vivan says to Othmani, "Watch and see what we're going to do to your family." And Vanshi takes them into the room next door, and they muffle their voices so they don't say anything. They bring in 2 policewomen to pretend they're being beaten. Vanshi hits a chair with a belt, making it sound like someone is getting whipped, and the policewomen act like they're screaming. Othmani hears the screams and thinks it's his wife and daughter being tortured, so he gets very angry and finally agrees to talk. And indeed, Othmani tells Vanshi the location where Riyadh and Rafiq are meeting today. Vanshi heads out with his team, but his wife Ria stops him and says, "I want you to come with me to the embassy now to sign our papers so we can travel." Vanshi asks her to postpone it to another day because he has important work. Ria gets upset and says, "You only care about your job. If you cared half as much about us, we'd be the happiest family in the world." Kabir steps in and lets Vanshi go to the embassy with his wife. He tells him, "I'll send Vivan to handle the mission instead of you." After that, Vivan and the police take Othmani to Rafiq's house to set up an ambush for Rafiq and Riyadh so they can arrest them. But Rafiq realizes that the person with Othmani is a police officer, yet he stays calm and waits for a signal from Othmani or Tembi. He enters the house and waits for Riyadh's arrival. Then Othmani asks Rafiq for a glass of water. Rafiq understands that this is the signal and goes to activate a bomb in the kitchen. Othmani and Rafiq recite the Shahada, the Islamic declaration of faith, and then the bomb explodes, killing all 3 of them. Vanshi and Ria go to the hospital, and Dembi's wife is devastated when she sees what happened to her husband. She turns to Vanshi and says, "Why weren't you with him? If you had been with him, none of this would have happened." The woman is so shocked she can barely stand. They hold a funeral for Officer Tembi. Tembi's wife tells Ria, "I'm proud of my husband. He devoted his life to serving his country. But how will my son bear living without him?" There's a saying, family is the greatest blessing in life, but no one truly appreciates it until it's gone. That's why nothing in life is more important than family. My advice, forget what happened between you and your husband and get back together. Ria seriously considers her words. Meanwhile, Riyadh tells his men that Othmani's sacrifice must not be in vain. He says all the people of Mumbai must pay the price. We'll plant the bombs in their locations today. Mukhtar tells Riyadh that the police might find their hideout, so he tells Riyadh, "You and your men should leave, and I'll stay here alone." It then turns out that Mukhtar's wife overheard everything. They were talking about explosives, and she's shocked by what she heard. Riyadh tells her, "Everything you heard is true." He explains that they came from Pakistan to destroy India. Then he says, "After everything you've heard, you can't be allowed to live," and kills her in front of Mukhtar. Mukhtar manages to hold himself together and does nothing. After that, the 40 terrorists plant each bomb in its designated location. After that, Othmani's daughter goes to Vanshi and tells him, "I didn't know my father was a terrorist, and I'm here to help the police in any way I can." Vanshi shows her photos of several people and asks her if she recognizes anyone who met with Othmani before. She is able to identify Mukhtar's picture and says, "He came to our house often and owns a car repair shop." Vanshi tells his team, "We won't make it to Mukhtar in time, but I know an officer who can help us and catch him." It turns out the officer Vanshi means is Simba. We see Simba bursting into Mukhtar's workshop, taking down the terrorists one by one in a fierce fight, smashing up the place. Then he notices a bomb inside one of the cars. Mukhtar appears behind Simba, and a fight breaks out between them. At first, Mukhtar has the upper hand. He grabs Simba by the neck, but Simba turns the tables, slams Mukhtar onto a table and beats him, then jumps on him and wraps a chain around his neck, finally managing to subdue him and says, "You're under arrest." Afterwards, Simba calls Vanshi and tells him, "I've arrested Mukhtar, but Riyadh and the 40 terrorists weren't here. They're planning to blow up 7 locations with car bombs. But luckily, I found one of the cars here, which means there are 6 more bombs out there. These bombs are set to go off one after the other every 5 minutes, and I found their locations on a map. We have to act fast and go stop those bombs right now." Vanshi tells him, "Send me all the details." Minutes later, the police move out to secure the 6 sites and learn they have only 1 hour before the bombs go off. The officers manage to locate the bomb cars, but there's a big problem. The areas are busy and crowded with people. Kabir says, "We can't let the public notice anything, or there'll be a panic and people could get hurt in the chaos. Diffusing these explosives is going to be tough and will take time." So Vanshi says, "We need to call in the special operations officers to airlift the car bombs using helicopters." After that, all the police officers start clearing people from the dangerous areas, and then the helicopters arrive. But in one area, they couldn't evacuate people in time because prayers were about to begin at both the mosque and the temple. Vanshi tells an officer, "Do whatever it takes to get people out. I'm on my way." The officer manages to evacuate the Muslims from the mosque, then enters the temple, interrupts the prayers, and forces everyone, including the religious leaders, to leave. The priests wanted to take their idol with them, but it was too heavy. At that moment, the Muslim worshippers stepped in to help, carrying the idol out with them. Vanshi then arrives and learns that the car bomb is under a bridge, so the helicopter can't reach it, and there are only 5 minutes left before it explodes. Vanshi decides to drive the car himself to get it away from people, while the special operations officers airlift the other car bombs with helicopters. Vanshi drives the car to an abandoned factory, jumps out just before it explodes, and seconds later, the car detonates safely inside the factory. Meanwhile, the helicopters drop the other car bombs into the sea, where they explode harmlessly. No one gets hurt. And with that, the Indian police successfully complete the mission. Simba brings Mukhtar to Vanshi, and everyone believes the terrorists have been defeated. But suddenly, there's an explosion at the police station. Riyadh, Reda, and their men appear, and they've brought Raya with them, a suicide vest strapped around her body. The officers can't shoot because Riyadh is holding the bomb trigger. He stands in front of Vanshi and says, "If you don't do exactly as I say, this whole station will explode. Think about your wife before you make any move." Vanshi is forced to surrender, and the terrorists take over the station, filming the officers at gunpoint. Riyadh says, "It's time for the world to hear our voice and know who we are. The Indian police killed 235 of our people." Vanshi interrupts him. "You're wrong. It's 275, because the 40 terrorists outside will die with you." Riyadh asks, "And who's going to kill me?" Simba replies, "You'll find out now." Suddenly, the station wall explodes, and an armored vehicle arrives with special operations officers who storm in and clash with the terrorists. Out of the armored vehicle steps Singham himself, assessing the situation as he enters. Riyadh activates Raya's suicide vest. The bomb will explode in 2 minutes. The officers quickly spring into action and start shooting at the terrorists. A fierce gunfight breaks out, turning the police station into a battlefield. Singham reloads and begins taking them down, easily dodging a rocket fired his way. The police respond with a grenade and blow up the terrorists. Vanshi, Simba, and Singham team up to finish off the last terrorist. Vanshi tries to defuse the suicide vest from Raya and asks her, "How did they get to you? Weren't you supposed to have traveled?" She replies, "No, I changed my mind. I was coming back to tell you I'm not leaving." Vanshi is taken aback by her confession. He and Singham manage to defuse the bomb together. Singham throws the explosive away, everyone takes cover, and it goes off safely. After that, the three heroes, Vanshi, Singham, and Simba, emerge and finish off the remaining terrorists one by one. Vanshi gets his wife to safety, then returns to join the others. The three stand together in the middle of the station, unleashing all their ammo on the remaining terrorists until the threat is fully eliminated. One terrorist tries to pull out a grenade, but a bullet hits it and it explodes on him. All the terrorists are gunned down and eliminated. After finishing off those outside, the heroes move inside the station to take out any remaining terrorists. Vanshi fights 2 of the terrorists hand-to-hand and takes them down with ease. Simba engages with the others and skillfully defeats them. Then, the 3 heroes move forward together, searching for Riyadh and Reda. In the end, Reda gets shot. Riyadh grabs him and they hide together. Riyadh calls his father and says, "We've lost. I'm sorry we couldn't win the war. Promise me you'll carry on for us and get our revenge." Omar replies, "I promise you, my son." Singham bursts in, grabs the phone from Riyadh and says to Omar, "Don't think this is over. I'm coming for you, and I will arrest you." Omar responds, "You know who I am and what I'm capable of." Singham replies, "I know you well, I know where you are, and time will prove it." Omar says, "I'll be waiting for you." After that, Mokhtar provokes Singham to fight him hand-to-hand. Singham accepts the challenge and puts his weapon aside. With one swift move, Singham takes Mokhtar down to the ground. Riyadh tries to attack Singham, but Singham grabs him and throws him aside. Riyadh comes back and tries again, but Singham knocks him down right next to Mokhtar. Riyadh grabs a chair and smashes it over Singham, but Singham slaps him and turns to fight the other 2. No matter how much they gang up on him, they keep failing. Singham takes on all 3 at once without hesitation. He catches Mokhtar, chokes him, and throws him out of the office. Then he leaps on Riyadh and finishes him off with his signature move. Vanshi grabs Mokhtar and finishes him off, then throws all 3 criminals down in front of everyone so they can be arrested and sent to jail. As they're leaving, Riyadh stops them and says, "We've spent 13 years living in your country, killing your people, and we see real footage of terrorist attacks that happened in India." Riyadh continues, "And after all we've done, you're just going to put us in jail?" The 3 officers get enraged and decide to kill the terrorists on the spot so that they truly get what they deserve. After that, the trio walks away, ready to return for a new mission in the future, and that's the end of the episode. Don't forget to hit like and help us reach 8,000 likes on this episode. If you made it to the end, I want you to drop police officers in the comments so I know who enjoyed the episode. Bye-bye.
Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to my channel.